All right, YouTube, what's up? I'm back finally, and it's been over a year since I've posted on here, which is honestly insane, and it kind of hurts my heart to know that it's been that long. But the good news is I can tell you guys that there are lots of videos coming soon, but I just wanted to kind of hop on here and give a quick update and just give some context as to where I've been and why I pretty much disappeared for an entire year on YouTube, because it definitely was not intentional. And I'm just gonna keep things super simple with no B-roll, no pop-ups or anything fancy in this video. I just want to get my thoughts out and kind of just rip the band-aid off so I can just get back to posting. All right, so let's just get right into it. And I'm sure the question most of you guys are wondering is, where the hell have I been? And to make a long story short, we've pretty much been all over the place and just kind of living life, but off social media this time. The van build is done and we pretty much lived out of it for most of last year. We drove it all the way across the country and spent almost 3 months on the West Coast. And you guys already know that I was planning to post a bunch of videos all last year and document the entire trip and the entire time on our road and really just take advantage of like the whole van life thing, but clearly that didn't happen. And I debated on even making this video because I hate when people make excuses for not doing what they say they're gonna do, and that's not what this is, but I did want to be honest with you guys about what happened and just kind of like my mindset, because it was an absolutely incredible trip, literally a dream come true in so many ways, and I'll talk more about that obviously, but if I'm honest, I did feel like a huge failure at the time, and I even kind of still do now. The past year I felt basically paralyzed when it comes to social media and sharing. And I bet you that I'm not the only one that's ever felt that way. So I'm just gonna try to explain where my head's been at and what my plan is going forward. The van tour is done and it has been for months, and I was gonna just post that without any context, and I will be posting that next week probably, but I figured I should probably give you guys some kind of update. So yeah, I guess let's do that. And I think we last left off at the epic A-frame cabin that we went to last year around Christmas, and well, I guess 2022 around Christmas. And after that, we actually drove out to the East Coast to shoot one of my last weddings ever in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, which was awesome. And then we drove through some of Maine, Vermont, and Massachusetts and kind of like extended the trip. And it was an amazing trip, but we took the RAV4 because the van wasn't finished and we didn't have a heater. And as you know me well, you know I hate staying in hotels, and that pretty much just solidified that we needed to come home and finish the van ASAP. Andrew literally worked for 3 weeks straight every single day, and we were able to finish a simple but a very functional van build. And like I said, the tour of that will be coming out next week, but once we finished the build, literally all I could think about was getting on the road. I have been dreaming of this day pretty much my entire life, to be able to drive out west. Now, I've flown out west many times, but I've never driven all the way across the country and been able to like take my time. And I had a huge 6-month gap in jobs that were tying me down in Michigan, so we pretty much had all the time in the world. And we literally packed up everything less than a week after we finished the van build, and we left for the West Coast. We left in the beginning of March and we got back at the end of June, so like we were gone for about 3 months. Now, I have a lot to say about this trip, which I will save the details for future videos, but let me just say that it absolutely changed my life in every single way. It was an absolute dream come true, but not in the way that I expected. I thought it was gonna make me want to vlog every day and literally shoot everything, but for the first time in my life, I had true freedom. Financial freedom, freedom from having to do work, from having to answer emails, or just freedom from everything. And instead of all of that freedom making me want to create a bunch of content and vlog, instead my gut told me to just take some time and enjoy it. And so that's what we did, thinking that we had all the time in the world. And for the first time in my entire life, I put down the camera, I put down the phone, and Andrew and I enjoyed like 3 weeks of truly just being in the moment. I did film and shoot a bunch of stuff, but I didn't make vlogging a priority. This was literally the longest that I've ever traveled or had free time in my entire life, and I just became obsessed with that freedom, and I was doing everything I could do to preserve that feeling. But then at the same time, my business didn't just stop overnight. Even when I'm not posting, I guess I still am getting leads, which I guess is a good thing, so I don't want to sound like I'm complaining about that because I'm super grateful. But I was still getting emails left and right from clients like wanting me to go back to Michigan for work, and I just kept ignoring and putting them off. And that's when the pressure started to set in, because then I started to get job opportunities that were way too good to say no to, and I realized that I had pretty much been on the road for 2 months, literally living out my childhood dream. And instead of documenting it and taking advantage of it, I just didn't. I literally just did whatever I could do to preserve that freedom, because I realized that depending on how things go for me, I might not get another opportunity to be with Andrew with so much free time with no commitments like that. And after so much time had gone by, I honestly just felt paralyzed when it came to sharing. And I realized that I was in way over my head if I thought I was going to be able to edit 2 months worth of footage while being on the road. I've been posting on social media consistently since 2015. So that's, whew, holy smokes, that's 7 years. So yeah, you'd think that it would be easy for me to just document and do what I've been doing my entire life, but it actually was quite the opposite. And this is the point where I pretty much just gave up and I started to feel like a complete failure. As my freedom was slowly like slipping away because I had finally started committing to jobs back in the Midwest, the pressure started getting worse and worse. Basically, the entire idea I had for the trip, which was to be gone for the entire year, was pretty much out the window now. So instead of spending hours of the trip just sitting behind a screen editing and wasting my time, we pretty much just lived in the moment for the remainder of the trip and tried to take advantage of every single day that we had left on the road. And of course, I obviously did document things and take a bunch of photos, but just not at the level that I expected to. We literally did no planning and basically just took the entire trip day by day, which in hindsight, I am glad that we made that decision because the moment that the trip had an end date, it basically ruined that whole freedom feeling that I had. At this point, I was pretty disappointed in myself and I just felt like I came up short and that I was just a failure for not documenting the first 2 months. So needless to say, things definitely didn't go to plan, especially at the end, and there's more to come on all of that for sure. But I will just say that I don't regret making the decisions that we did. I'm honestly pretty proud of myself because for the first time, I prioritized a real life experience and enjoying it in the moment instead of like trying to stay relevant on social media, which I've been guilty of many times in the past. But all right, I feel like this is getting way longer than I wanted it to be. So let's just get to the point and get you guys caught up to today. We came back to the Midwest, like I said, at the end of June, and we immediately went back-to-back work trips in the Midwest. We actually went to Ohio and then we spent some time in the Upper Peninsula. And then we actually went to Iowa for the end of September for work, and we slowly decided to make our way from Iowa up through Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the UP for the fall colors in October. We spent about a month on the road doing that, and then we came back for the holidays and for the end of the year, and we've pretty much been here ever since, dealing with some personal and family stuff. We have taken some on and off trips in the van, and since we've been spending so much time in one place, I finally got a chance to go through the footage from the trip and edit some of these videos together. So don't worry, I swear that they are actually coming. The main reason it took me so long to finally start posting videos again is that I really just struggled with editing because I was just disappointed in the footage. It just wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to document our entire pretty much daily life on the road and our entire experience. And you guys will see in the videos to come that the first video where we drive across the country, I was so freaking stoked and I was just so pumped to film. But as time went on, I slowly just started prioritizing living in the moment, and instead I pretty much just filmed a bunch of random cool moments, and so I'm kind of just left with a bunch of random clips that have no storyline, and I've just been struggling with trying to put that all together into something cohesive. And since this already wasn't enough on my plate and I wasn't frustrated enough, let's just add something more. I decided that it would be a great idea to completely redo my website and create a brand new one. And for those of you that don't know, I do have a blog and a website that I have like photo sets and articles. I have like 40 or 50 now. And I figured that since I'm going to be home for a while, this would be the perfect time to fix it and get that working again. And since I figured, oh, we're going to be in one place for a while, this is the perfect time to fix things up. And little did I know, it ended up, of course, being much harder than I expected. And once I actually realized how much work I had to do, I decided to hire somebody for the first time to help me fix it and set it up properly. And I hate it when people say that they're going to do something, but then they do the opposite. And in this case, I was doing exactly that with finishing my website, posting the van tour and the videos from the trip. So I decided to just disappear and come back when I've actually finished and can just be consistent. I'm happy to say that finally, I finished. The new site is live. The tour video is live. I exported it this morning and can officially check both of those things off my list and get back to posting again. But anyways, all of that is to say that there are tons of videos coming soon, finally. Next week will be the van tour, like I said, and then the video after that will be us driving across the country where I actually did do a good job vlogging. For the rest of the videos, I'm just gonna keep it simple and just have fun with it. I'll probably just sit down and go through the footage on my laptop and just talk to you guys like I'd be catching up a friend, and basically just tell the story as best as I can with the footage that I do have. That's going to be the motto of my channel going forward, to just keep things super simple so that I can just make this sustainable and fun again, because YouTube isn't my full-time income. I do make a little bit of income when I'm not posting, which is honestly crazy. I don't know how that's possible, but it's mostly just for fun. So I need to stop taking things too seriously, because that has been the downfall of why I haven't been active. For too long, I've tried way too hard to make each video better and better than the next, which is a great goal to have, but when they don't turn out exactly how I have in my head, I just kind of leave them sitting on a hard drive. They're fully edited and pretty much ready to go, but I'm just not happy with them. Like, for example, the van tour video, we filmed it in Arizona in March. We literally filmed it 3 different times, and every single time the audio just kept getting messed up. It's not completely terrible and it is still usable, but it's just not ideal. And I almost told myself that let's record it again for the 4th time. But for once, I decided to just bite my tongue and I said, no, we need to just make it work with what we have and move on. Otherwise, I'm going to be stuck in this freaking paralyzed state forever. So that's what we're doing. And yeah, I just wanted to get this video out kind of just to rip the Band-Aid off and give some context as to where I've been, because the longer and longer I waited, the harder and harder it was to try to film this. But I guess the break was much needed, because I honestly feel so much better after filming this and getting all of this off my chest. And I'm so stoked to finally start sharing everything that we've been doing for the past year. And obviously this was just a little synopsis, but the rest will come out in the videos to come very soon. So yeah, I talked way more than I was planning to already, so I'm just going to end it here. If you guys made it this far, again, thank you so much, and thank you for watching and being patient for me over these last few years. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos to come very soon. And oh, check out the website if you want. I'll put a link in the description. It's still a work in progress, but at least that's done now, which is a huge relief. And speaking of relief, I cannot even tell you guys how much better I feel right now after getting this video done. All right, I swear I'm actually done now. I'm gonna stop talking now and just edit this and get it uploaded ASAP. Thank you guys so much for watching and to listening to me rant, and stay tuned for next week for the van tour. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.